There's posters back there and sign-up sheets. Our next presenter is Russ RuBert, and in addition to owning this fine establishment, this industrial art complex that he's invited us into so graciously tonight and let us use, Russ, well, let me read his blurb. He's an internationally known artist and sculptor. He and his wife Pam and RuBert own art studio hosting us tonight. Yeah, I just said that. Dang it, I ruined it. I should have, spoiler alert, sorry. Please welcome Russ. Thank you.
All right. When I was a kid, I always had a fascination with what occurs in the negative space, and that's what I call the space between space. And this could be the invisible space, or it's the space that's made visible through the effects of materials, wind, or light. So tonight I just wanted to share some of my photos and ideas and sculptures with you. And here's an early work. It's a fragment of fired ceramic. It's kind of a planet that these little green dogs live on, or perhaps infest. And I think of myself as being little dog number 6 right up there. And I orbit on this tiny little rock, oblivious kind of to the unseen universe most of the time. If you'll look around the studio, you'll see that I'm fascinated by objects like this. And this is an ion vacuum pump. And it has no moving parts. It operates through creating like an ionized film that zaps all the molecules. And it removes all the molecules until you have like the space of outer space. And the moon here, on the right you see like this amazing kiss. This kiss of the sun just beginning to hit the moon again. And it's just amazing the way that light hits it there. And I look at that and it kind of informs my work with these little mind games. And I think like, if I'm in a car and I'm driving like straight up, and I drive as far as like Ozark, Missouri, and I'm like at 45,000 feet at that point. And then I jump out and I only got 80% of the atmosphere left. I've got 4 or 5 minutes left to live. I mean, it's amazing how thin and fragile our little Earth and our little layer of atmosphere is. This is in North Carolina, and I'm on the coast, and there's this hurricane blowing in, and it's just amazing. I mean, I shouldn't really be out there, but I'm kind of this crazed photographer, and you can see I've got a 5-ball Roman candle, I'm going boom, 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 and the horizontal winds are just pushing, just catching and pulling the sparks to the side in a horizontal lever. And then here, this is at Lost Valley, and basically I'm just rappelling down in front of this cave, and I just have my old Bic ladder and a can of aerosol, and I shoot this big S snake of fire as I go down. But this is what's informed some of my later work, because like here, you'll see Hurricane Fran, and Hurricane Fran has this big S, and it's also informed by Hurricane Fran that I kind of experienced and I took photos of. And you see like the hurricane, again, part of the flesh. This is in Dallas, part of their Performing Arts Center. And here I am kind of back as a kid, because this is a much better hair day than I have now. And I'm trying to throw, I started in ceramics, I was trying to throw a pot taller than my head, and then my best materials are hot melt glue gun, sawdust, and plastic. And that's how I built my early environments. And here's one that's basically plastic filled with sawdust, and you can walk through the walls. And then there's a thin line, a thin line, and if you shake the line, it sends a spasm through that whole wall of neon, a wave going back and forth. So those kinds of things. Here's another one. Oh, Paula, that's Bonnie up there. And you see, like, I love this kind of look of the neon and the softness of the plastic. And you see my feet here, walking over the neon. As you walk, you hit little sensors and it'll light up the various sections as you walk through. And so I really enjoyed doing this kinds of transient. Oh, and here we've got shoes. I have like 10,000 shoes. And it's the space above space. The shoes are above me, they're crushing down. There's shoes on the wall, there's shoes on the floor, there's little tunnels of shoes. There's 10,000 shoes, I mean there's shoes everywhere. And I love this, like thousands and thousands of images. There's thousands and thousands of photos. I love to take photos. And so I created an entire space where you just walk in and immerse yourself in the photos. You immerse yourself in, well, it's just there you are. And there's the space, and it's all recycled material. And I think when I started going into doing more bigger public stuff, it's still like this idea of recycled materials, you know. And so here's Ecosphere, and Ecosphere has, you know, these big stainless things. So if you look at this and you kind of like jumble it all up in your head, and you think about it a little bit more, you get this, because that was the raw material for Ecosphere. Ecosphere is, you know, it's on the campus of MSU, but I was reading again on the website, and they were like, you know, it's about, you know, they kind of don't have the right idea about it. These are like tree forms. They're tree forms. They're not. They got this idea that it's a satellite dish, and it's really not about that. When you've been informed about my work, you know that I'm really got this kind of global warming environmental bent. So that's always kind of been the fundamental underline of Ecosphere, and I kind of want to set the record straight on that. Here's Cape Park, of course, and you know, what I really think about is the wonderful place in Springfield where we can create these public spaces and where we can, you know, involve the public in these spaces. And here is another space with the kind of the wind, and you can see the wind as part of the flesh of the sculpture. And as the top spins, it will spin in the wind, or it can spin by turning the pole. And this was in a park in North Carolina, and the park was built for it, and all the spaces pull kind of visual notes and curves from the piece, so you can see the benches, the concrete, the soft surfaces that we use are all kind of pulled from this sculpture. But I think that's almost the last slide. Oh yeah. Biyamba. I was MC over at the Japanese Fall Festival, and Biyamba, the world's champion sumo wrestler. And then this kid came up, and this kid was like a wannabe wrestler, and he wanted to put his head right up and do like a mind meld with Biyamba. And so we let him. I mean, that was great. And all of a sudden it was like this, and I was like, that's it. That's the space between space. Yeah.